Welcome to the Calm, Willing, Confident Horse podcast. I'm Simon Neich, and we're back into the podcast series here. I'm here with the lovely Dr. Shelley Appleton, the owner and operator of Calm, Willing, Confident Horses, to talk about what's been happening. Hi there, Shelley.
How you going, Simon?
Okay, so we're going to talk about clinics, workshops, new ideas, what she's been working on, what she's been reading and studying, etc. But it's been a little bit of a gap between the first one, which was back in
Yes,
October because we got busy.
it was hilarious. We listened to it back and it's like, we're going to sit down and do this every couple of weeks. And it was like, yeah, October, that's more than half a year.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're back into it. I like doing this podcast and just updating you because, days with people reading their email, just about to send an email blast out. So, and I just know that most people won't read them. Like I don't read many emails that arrive in my email box. So thought I'd give an update like this to make it a little bit more interesting, or maybe bypass your email.
Well,
your email box.
lots happened. We tied the knot and got married at the end of October, which was has sort of thrown us a curveball again in the sense of it's taken more and more time up. You've been away. You went to WA. You've done clinics, and we've been doing
Yeah.
lots of different
Yeah, I've
things.
had quite a hectic clinic schedule this year. I just worked it, I've already done 23 events so far
It's been busy.
this year. I've been super busy. It's been really fun though, because I kind of changed my clinic structures
Yeah.
and introduced my workshops, two workshops, Confidence Connection and the Whole Horse workshop. And everyone that has experienced those events, especially how I structure them to be able to go to the workshop and then flow on into the clinic, has said how, like, they have all said what a great learning experience that was. And yeah, so I'm really, really pleased with the structure. I think that really the ultimate learning experience.
Yeah, yeah. No, you've been doing a few, and the workshops I think are a great idea. Where you don't need to
Yeah.
bring your horse
Oh,
along.
you just
You get
sit
to.
down. We just get to sit down and look at the big picture, and people can reflect and share, and we can look at the situation in more detail without having to worry about your horse in a yard or hanging onto your horse in the arena. It's just also quite efficient as well. Like you get to sit down and just immerse in it, and the feedback from the workshops has been incredible. And that's the confidence connection has been one thing, but the whole horse, wow, whole horse has been great. That's really my joy of like my real passion area at the moment is understanding the horse from as many holistic layers as possible. And wow, we have done some really good problem solving and identified a lot of glitches or not reasons behind a horse not being quite right that have actually arisen out of those workshops. So yeah, they've been super effective.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those things. So the lessons from the road, like you've worked with so many people, so many horses,
Mm.
with workshops, coaching, all that stuff, right? What are the sort of common themes, and what are the things you found yourself talking about over and over again at clinics, and what are the main problems?
Look, really, it's been able to see the problem more clearly. It's been able to see the horse more clearly and being able to see what you're doing and what our role is and how we can affect the horse. I think that's really what it comes down to. I really enjoy being able to look at a horse and be able to direct people's attention to what they should be taking notice of, and then being able to help them identify that the reaction of a horse and the behavior of the horse is connected to what they're doing. So again, I'm working on skill building. I'm working on the idea that we have to start at the start. Like people think going back to groundwork is going backwards when it's actually no, it's actually the fast way,
Yeah.
because getting things sorted out on the ground and all those little interactions that go up until riding are so crucial and important of being able to get the horse in a good place with you and your relationship in a good way and removing the conflict. People don't understand they're in constant conflict with their horses. And that's just causing this perpetuation and accumulation of stress Then we got the other factor of if there are soundness issues or discomfort issues or issues that are affecting the horse's sense of balance, even tension from the actual conflict between the owner or the rider, and how all these things manifest and multiply stress, which is the root cause of the behavior that people are struggling with. And just being able to help people get a sense of influence or understanding and then influence over that is really cool. So that's what I'm seeing out there.
Okay, so yeah, look, I think, and part of the whole horse workshop that you've been doing, that's had a dramatic effect on what people have understood about what's happening at the very beginning, how you can affect it, what are the grassroots problems, and I think that's one of the best things. And we've had a lot of people go to the confidence and trust ones that you run, but yeah, get to the whole horse workshop because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're both great.
So on that, being a geek, you have clinic workshops, feedback, etc., that people send in, what they found and what they've learned, etc. And they're just the thing that's striking to me is what people find the workshops really well structured and organised. Great idea to have it without a horse, so you don't need to worry about looking after them. Definitely going to attend more workshops. People are saying, both days were powerful. They're an enjoyable learning experience. So people are having these great feedbacks from those workshops because they can learn so much when they're not worrying too much about the horse, but they're intaking all of that information. They're writing it down. They get little clinic packs with them and all that stuff that comes along with them as well. So yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, so those workshops structured before the clinics are very good. But also another thing I do is I give people a month free membership to my membership society. So there's a heap of resources there that they can start working through. So people can really come to the clinic quite prepared or have a really good idea about what to expect. And that is significant as well. Not only that, because I've dropped the number of horses down and I cap my fence sitting numbers, it makes the clinics themselves really good learning experience.
Yeah.
We also meet before the clinic on Zoom, and that is great for everyone to just get to know each other. And people come with a really good mindset. So it's what I'm passionate about, which is creating really good learning environments.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I think you've got that. Well, what do people get when they have spent a full weekend with you, whether it's just the clinics or whether they've gone to the workshop, etc. So they really, as you said, they come away with these great ideas, and that's what these pages and pages I've got printed out here. People are saying those same things. So how do they then, after the clinics, like, what do they do? How do they follow it up? Do they, online? What's the?
Yeah, what I give them, I hand them away. What I give them is that I show them a path, a process, a structure for them to actually follow. And that comes in the form of my courses. It flows really well then into my courses, my complete reboot program, which has been super successful. So they get to listen to my whatever workshop they go to. And if they don't go to a workshop, come to a clinic where I set the scene as well. And then they have the option of continue working with me online, which I'm able to show I'm very effective at. So I really cut my teeth helping people that were working online, and it was just a debacle. Like it was just a lot of chaos. So I was helping people unpick that. And there was a time when I thought, look, this just really can't be done. But using my expertise in learning and also, developing programs at university and my understanding of human learning and how to structure horse training into a way that starts really, really super simple and then work my way up in a step-by-step process where it knits together really clearly. I've been really able to nail that, nail the online learning. But you just can't create the online course. I'm very meticulous in how I actually do it. It's got my complete reboot program. Yes, it can be done self-paced. Anyone can do it self-paced. But you've got the support directly from me. You just don't sign up and wave goodbye or, send some person that's a help desk some help or into a forum where you've just got other people that are doing the program reaching out. You've actually got me in a very structured way, access to me, And then I've included in the complete reboot program is that I run these online events called intensives, and they take the effectiveness to the next level. So I create a community of people that are going, right, we want to work through it. We want the motivation. We want the momentum. So I create a structure. I have 8-week boot camps, which is like, right, let's go, everyone. Like I'll be knocking on your door if you don't turn up, that type of thing. And I've also got a long form one, which is not as boot camp as boot camp. It's called Rebuild. So it's a 20-week one. So it allows some flexibility with people's busyness of life, but they get to check in every week. There's reporting, there's Zoom calls, and there's the community forum on there, which acts as like uploaded videos. I give you very specific feedback back, which is super effective. So it's got these elements in it that is effective. And not only that, I research it. I'm a researcher. I research and I keep tabs on the effectiveness of my online programs. And so that's where I'm leaving people, when they leave the clinic, although I might not be returning to that location sometimes until the following year, I have the ability to transfer into my online programs and then get my support there and the effectiveness of that program.
Okay, so with the intensives, and I know you being an absolute dork and a researcher and a geek and all that sort of stuff, right? You've calculated results and stuff like that. Like, what's the sort of success rates that you're getting from people who are going through these online courses and getting your feedback and you giving it to them daily and all that sort of stuff? What's their percentage of success? Like, where are they at?
Oh, it's huge. So just say with Bootcamp, I released the data from that. You can go onto my website under blogs and you will see me answer the question, can horsemanship be learnt online? And I go through my actual statistics. And absolutely you can. Like to say, I started with about 23 people in Bootcamp. I lost 2, but it was fair enough. I lost 2 participants through the process, but it was fair enough. A horse got injured and another person had an elderly family member that was not doing well, that needed extra support. So they were completely fair enough. However, with the remaining people, we all stuck through the whole 8 weeks. I got 12 of those people back in the saddle. A lot of the other horses, they needed a longer time, and that was fine. I also had a lot of young horses weren't started yet, so they weren't ready to be sat on. And out of those people, 5 of them were cantering on a loose rein by the end of the 8 weeks. But everyone was progressing towards there. So everyone progressed forward. And so that was, really impressive.
Okay, so you've got another one here, the human side of horsemanship intensive. Now that's starting soon. What sort of date is that starting? What do people need to do to become part of it?
Yeah. So really what the human side of horsemanship is all about, it's about people that are interested in doing what I do. And it can be in lots of capacities. Yes, you might want to coach or instruct, or you might work with people in your role, whether it be a farrier or a body worker or a vet. I've had so many different professionals that come and work through my program. However, it's also community leaders, those that are heavily involved in equestrian organizations or clubs. And those people are just super interesting because the human side of horsemanship, of how humans learn with horses, is so fascinating. It's like nothing else. It's not like learning maths or even, learning dancing or tennis. It's not. It's a really different thing because you've got 2 different species that are both learning at the same time. So it's really interesting. So because of my background, I really understand how people learn. So what's my PhD? It's how people learn to develop the thinking skills and the expertise. So I'm an expert in that. So when I am faced with teaching people how to work with horses, I'm looking at it from a different viewpoint and I bring in my background. And I knew that was quite unique, and I knew that's what made me successful in what I'm able to do. So a couple of years ago now, I can't believe it's been a couple of years already that I launched the course, and it's been one of my favorite courses and intensives to run. It's 6 weeks and we roll through, and I give people a lot of understanding about people. They get to walk away seeing people in a completely different light and get a lot more patience with people, but also a lot more tools and understanding how to navigate the human side. Plus, we also look at creating resources for equestrians, teaching resources, or how to share your expertise with people. And we've had some awesome things have been created because of the course. We've had podcasts being created, we've had books, we've had events, we've had services, new services being provided. Online courses have been created from it. It's really, really super. It's very powerful. It's like a whole lot of people come together and do it. And the lovely thing is once you're enrolled in it, you can do the intensive as many times as you like. It's like all my courses. You can, once you're enrolled, it's self-paced, but you can do as many kind of intensive runs of it as possible. And most people come back. There's some people that are going to be doing the 6-week intensive for the 4th time because they just enjoy the experience. It starts soon. It starts on the 6th of June.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
It's only Saturday this
Yeah,
week. It's coming up.
Long away.
Get in. If you're not sure, just email us and you'll get an answer from Shelley about that. But in the other fingers in all the pies, you've got one called the Racehorse Reboot coming up. Now, I know you're very, very passionate about standardbreds, thoroughbreds, off the track horses, etc. So what's inspired that program, and how are you getting through that next course and that transition to go to a new career for a horse?
Yeah, well, I really care about my off the track horses because they're so misunderstood. They're labeled as crazy or, a bad choice of a horse for multiple reasons. But really, what people do not respect is the fact that they've been professional horses. They've learned to do a very specific job, and that needs to be untrained out of them, and then they need to be retrained in their new jobs. And they also come with baggage from their racing lives, a lot of associations, a lot of quirky things they do that you think are just crazy when you shampoo them in the wash bay and you can't take them in there and you wonder why. There's all reasons for that. Or you take them somewhere in the float and you get them off and they go wild. There's all reasons for that when you understand them and what their life previously has been and what they've been taught to do very, very well. So very passionate about these horses, about how to navigate them and be able to see who they really are. So I've collaborated with a wonderful person from inside the thoroughbred industry that knows the industry inside and out, Isabel Chandler, who has done everything from being a jockey to being a foreman at a racing stable. And now she works as a body worker on these high performance horses and thoroughbreds. And she's amazing. She also does a lot of retraining of thoroughbreds. So she saw the problem from one end. I see the problem at the other of having this failure of this rehoming process and the problems that happen, the flaws in it that make it not successful. So we collaborated. We put together our course, Racehorse to Riding Horse, the Off the Track Reboot program. And although it is self-paced and it has all those good elements that I bring to my online learning teaching methods, is that we also run an intensive version of that. We do a 4-week one that focuses on groundwork. And we've currently got, starting on the 6th of June as well, is our 8-week version, which hopefully should get people into the saddle during that time and being able to have a look what happens when you actually have a guided, structured process that is tried and tested of removing the racehorse training from them and being able to strip them back and being able to retrain them for their life beyond the track.
Now, you've got also some free learning opportunities which are out there with some webinar replays available. So just quickly, let's cover what those are. Start with maybe the Worried Horse webinar.
Yeah, so I've been doing, some semi-regular webinars, some just with me, some with Isabel as well. The Worried Horse webinar was Worried Horse Understanding Anxiety in Off the Track Horses. That is really good. We did that last week. The replay of that is available. And I think it will be an eye-opening because the webinars I try to bring an aspect of working with horses or understanding them that you might not consider what is important. So Isabel and I place the case for a very common reason behind anxiety in off-the-track horses, but really it's in any horse, to be honest. So it doesn't matter if you don't actually own or interested in off-the-track horses, it's actually relevant for you guys as well. So that's now available. And we'll put, of course, all these links to all these things we'll put in the show notes of this podcast. But the other podcast I've got for free, which you can view, which is super interesting, which is why smart horse people get stuck. So this is looking into that realm of the human side of horsemanship. And I put on the table a few reasons behind why people get stuck. And they're to do with the sense of identity we have and like an intelligence trap that sometimes we're too smart for our own good when we think what the problem is and it's not. We can't actually see the bigger picture. And the other thing is the impact of social media and the groups that we become involved in and how that can massively influence what we think is real or not real or what to do or what we should and how that can actually mess with reality. So that's another super interesting webinar.
Okay, so and on top of that, there's another webinar coming up, which is called, it's about Dash, who's a horse that basically he was labelled dangerous, etc. He's an off the track thoroughbred.
Mhm.
And so what did you discover when you and Izzy sort of worked with him? What are the lessons people can take away from his story, just quickly?
Yeah, so this webinar is going to take place on the 4th of June and it will be available as a free webinar after that event if you're listening to this podcast after that date. And yeah, we're going to tell the story of Dash, who was an off the track thoroughbred that was rehomed 3 times and rejected, 2 or 3 times. I'll have to check my notes on that. But he was sent back and being labeled dangerous. And what we talk about is his journey through. So his journey from off the track to being rehomed to being rejected. And then when we took him to use as a case study for the racehorse to riding horse program that we use, we captured his case and recorded his progress through it. And yeah, super interesting. Like if you saw him today, it's just like he's not dangerous. He's just a very smart horse, very clever, very aware. He learns super fast, which means he learns good things and bad things and can get worried about things very quickly as well if he doesn't understand and isn't prepared. But who he is today is completely different than what he got labeled with all those times that he was rejected from rehoming. So we tell his story because it's a classic, common story that we see with off the track horses.
And you've got, in more traveling that you're about to undertake, upcoming workshops. You've got a couple. You've got a confidence and connection workshop. And then I think down the track might not be until October, you've got one down in Wagga, which is the whole horse workshop. So go through the confidence and connection one.
Yeah, so mentioned it before, but just to know, I've only got 2 of these workshops left on my program for the year. Confidence Connection is taking place in Brisbane, okay, in Lower Beechmount on the 14th of August, 2026. So if you're a Queenslander or you're near there, I completely recommend coming along to this. It's life-changing for many, many people. I have a lot of different people coming. So just say at my workshop last week, I actually had a wonderful professional that actually runs a riding school. And she really gets the horses and she loves teaching people to ride. Most of her clients are adults, which is kind of different than a lot of riding schools. But she was really struggling with the human side of it. So she really found it super helpful. So I've got a mix of people that want to know more, solve their problems, they're curious about it, or also professionals coming along to want to really understand so they can understand their clients well.
Yeah, I think it also gives people a bit of an outlook on where to go forward with their confidence from that point. I think that's really important.
Oh yeah, again, it's like when you understand what is impacting on your sense of confidence, which is really your sense of competence with the horse, with what you're doing, the horse and your sense of reliability that they're able to be influenced, and time, because you just don't get confidence from one exposure. You need your brain needs lots of evidence on the table that this is true. That's impacted by a lot of things. It's not just, you just don't need to put on your big girl's panties or be more brave. Like that's not the reality. The reality is a whole lot of things that you don't even, that you're not, is a whole lot of things you're not even aware of. So we delve into that. And again, I give a structured plan. First of all, the awareness of how you have to tackle this thing holistically, and a plan of how to actually go about it and tackle it. And
Yeah.
it's been amazing because you know what? I've had 2 clients just last week, amazing, getting back on their horses after having serious accidents and having to rebuild their confidence and trust in their horse, and they're back on. And it was really significant because they were getting back on their horses when they were by themselves, which was a big momentous feat because they dabbled with it, but they needed someone there. But now they had got enough confidence to go that next step, and it was it was really a meaningful moment, like watching their videos and how much they had grown. They'd not only had they rebuilt their confidence with their horse and improved their skills out of sight, but they'd also had to rebuild their bodies as well. So just, yeah, really, really meaningful. Just showing that it can be done.
Yeah.
Absolutely can be done.
And when people come along these, it's not just turn up and it's the talking for they get a copy of the Confidence and Trust book, their
We
little
will show
show
you.
bags. It's fantastic. They get such good
It's
value out of it, but it really hits home for so many people, and you can see those changes. And then you've got one called the Whole Horse
Yeah.
Workshop. It's a bit of a tongue twister. The Whole Horse Workshop.
Mhm.
I think that's down in Wagga.
Mhm.
Am I right there?
Yeah, it's in Wagga. It's on the 9th of October, 2026. So look, it's what I'm super passionate about. If you think you've got horses under your belt or you've got a horse that's just not quite right, no one can help you with it, please come along. This is what I'm super fascinated about. It's where my study and my focus for my own personal development is. And it just digs into the layers of the horse that you might not be aware of and how they all overlay each other and all impact each other. So it really gives you new eyes to see the horse more than you do. It's just like people think that, horses talking their behavior. Yes, but horses talking more than that. Learning to read their bodies, their movement, their gait, the hooves. There's so much to it that you can hear so much more from horses of what they're actually saying back to you. And that's really what we delve into. So you get to see horses completely different by the end of that workshop.
Excellent. And I think we've discussed and covered some of these points, but I'd mentioned here about the complete reboot program.
Yeah.
So you've finished the boot camp intensive, but you're currently running a rebuild intensive. How's that been going? And also, how often are these events run, and what do people need to do? It's not like you just sign up for it. You're part of the courses, etc. So what
Yeah.
do they need for?
So my complete reboot program is my flagship program. It's got everything in there. If I create something, it goes in there, but it's got my very structured process that I look. It's got the understanding horses there. So it's like theory. It's like, what are the most important things to know about horses so you can kind of read their behavior and what they're doing accurately, because to know what to do, to make a decision about what to do, you got to be able to see it clearly, right? So bang, that's in there. Confidence and Trust book is in there. So you can be aware of yourself and the impact of you on the horse. Then it's got the skill set, builds the skill set, round pen, groundwork, and building the riding foundation, as well as contact and connection. So that, once you've got the foundation solid, then putting on the necessary contact and connection through the body to start impacting their posture, which is necessary to do. So it steps people through that. Doesn't matter if people don't have round yard, that's not uncommon. You just start with groundwork, but you build those skills. So it's my flagship. Plus, there's a whole lot of other really interesting stuff in there as well, like new home syndrome, new horse syndrome, why horses are spooky, separation anxiety. There's a heap of other resources so that you understand specific things more. But my flagship step-by-step process is in there. And yes, you work with me anyway. By getting into the complete reboot means that you get access to me personally, and it's lifetime access. Right. And I'm not afraid of that because my job is to set you free. And I am very good at that, at training that. So yeah, I've got a whole community of people out there in Australia that have been through it that now though a lot of them become trainers themselves, which I'm super proud of. Then they combine reboot with my human side of horsemanship, and then they do become what I do, which is very cool. Anyway, but once you're in the program, once you're enrolled in it, you get to participate when I have intensive events. So I have the 8-week or the 20-week, and what happens, they roll throughout the year. So we do an 8-week one at the start of the year. We'll have about a month or so off, and then they can be rebuilt. So they kind of roll through. It's not all the time, but they roll through with some breaks in between. So a lot of people that did the 8-week boot camp, they just rolled into the 20-week one, and that's absolutely okay. And in fact, someone's even come in halfway through rebuild, and that doesn't matter either. You just start where you are. It's just getting into the community spirit and following along with everyone's stories, because that gives you a heap of education.
Yeah, yeah, and I must say that the Calm, Willing, Confident Horse Society membership group, that's a great group of people. Like it needs no monitoring. It's just full of support, full of good community minds. So
so that sits outside of my program. So the Complete Reboot program, although everyone in Complete Reboot programs just gets to go in my membership society. My membership society is anyone who wants to be around my type of human beings, right? That want to show respect out there. They want to respect the horse. They're not into drama or outrage. We're just a really beautiful community where you get access to me in the group setting, where I have resources as well, like mini resources to work through there. We have challenge events. We meet every week for Q&As, discuss things that are going on out there in the equestrian world, whether they're controversial or, what does this mean, trying to work it out. But it is a really beautiful community of like-minded people. There's a heap of professionals in there. There's vets, there's body workers, there's farriers. So there's nutritionists. We've got access to really cool people within there. So I'm very proud of that community that I invite everyone to be part of. So that sits at a separate thing. It's just a monthly subscription there, but I really believe it's a really good value for money.
Yeah, and I think those who do the full reboot package that comes with them, they get a lifetime supply of that. So looking ahead, what do you got coming up over the next few months? Where are you? Just quickly, so you've got most of June to just be researching.
Yeah. We've got a lot of, as we pointed out, I've got a lot of intensives starting in June. So I'm at home for that period working on that, because intensives are intensive.
Yep.
That's where I sit down and I watch a lot of videos and talk to a lot of people and give a lot of feedback and advice.
And through July, you've got Dubbo, Nabiac.
Dubbo.
Then we go into August, you've got Grafton and Bidadaba, which is sort of just south of Brisbane. And then back home and back into more intensives, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'll be heading back over to Perth later in the year as well, because you've got cricket.
Yeah. Excellent. So what's something new you're working on right now? What are you reading? What is something new that you're going, hey, you're going to find out about this one in the coming months?
Look, I'm really delving into the idea of tensegrity. So I've been studying with Tammy El-Khayyam for a number of years now with her bodywork modality and getting my understanding of looking at the body as a whole. Tammy is just amazing with her ability to understand how the body works and how everything affects everything and what is significant, learning to read the horse more. But I've been doing Science in Motion course, which is looking at the concept of tensegrity from a training point of view. So Tammy gives it to me from a bodywork point of view, but what about from a training point of view? So that's been super interesting. So I've been studying that. Plus I've been also finishing off a nutrition course, the NRC Plus course that was recommended to me by Carol Layton, which is also fantastic. So I've just got to finish that off as well. So that's what I'm studying personally myself. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a pretty good summary. So for all the listeners that want to get involved or they're partly involved and they want to get more involved, basically the best place for them to start would be to go to the website, number one, which is www.calmwillingconfidenthorses.com.au. And from that point, they can pretty much find access to us.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what happens? People look, because I've got a lot of things. I've just talked about a whole heap of things there. And it's like, whoa, Shelley, I can't follow you, right? I have set my website up to try to be understood. However, look, if anyone's ever lost, they can just send us an email to admin@calmwillingconfidenthorses.com.au, and someone will be able to answer you of where to find something.
Yeah. And also, big point, back active with the Canter Therapy podcast with Kat Christensen and yourself. I've been, you've had lots of episodes.
Oh
being
yeah,
released.
we've
Really
the therapy's really popping up some really cool episodes. The ones we've released this year have just been super. Really, if you got a mare, you need to listen to
Yes.
the podcast with Dr. Chris Mortensen. Wow, that is mares and stress.
Yep.
Whoa, very important one. Interview with Bob Wood from America Horseman from America. Very cool. So much good feedback on that one.
Josh Nickel.
Oh yeah, Josh Nickel about to release that one. That will come out next week. Super cool. But
And if you're into worms,
yeah, we haven't. Yes, we got a great podcast coming out. Hasn't been released yet with Professor Carolyn Jacobson, actually, my very good friend from Murdoch University School of Agriculture, as she gives us the rundown on worms. She sat on the board that created the new guidelines for worming in horses, and wow, she gives
really
you
cool.
some very cool information about that. So we got a cool and one that I released this week. If you are interested in horse welfare, off the track thoroughbreds, listen to the podcast of us. Well, actually, it was Kat interviewing both myself and Izzy about our racehorse program, but you'll get to hear the backstory behind it, which is, it's pretty cool. It's really significant podcast, and we hopefully give people, just from listening to it, you might have a different understanding of thoroughbreds and standardbreds after you listen to it.
Excellent. I think that sort of covers everything from Shelley and I. I hope you've got the information you want, and we'll get back to you much quicker than we did this time. We'll be back within the month, and we'll be trying to get you updates as quickly as we can, so you know where Shelley is, what's happening with Dr. Shelley Appleton and Calm, Willing, Confident Horses. Okay, bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.